What's up, everybody? My name is John Mees Luttrell. This video was designed to show you how to use a MIDI controller connected directly into your Roland Fantom to trigger scenes, tones, and the sample pad. Let's get right into it. All right, right in front of you, what you see is the Fantom screen. I'm going to hit the menu. Boom. I'm going to go to System right there at the bottom. And under MIDI, boom. The first thing on the top is scene control channel. In order to change the scenes, you got to pick a channel. For me, it's channel 16. That's the channel that I use. Really, I just turn everything on. Here in the receiver area, you want to make sure you have everything on. Everything is on. All right, and so all of those have to be on. Your scene is in channel, whatever channel you decide. Now for your sample pad, now the sample pad control lives in the scene edit, not the system. See, that's kind of weird to me, but that means in order to control the pads, the sample pads, whatever scene that you're in, it has to be set up in order to do that. Top column, you have general and pad zone select. As you can see, I've used 16. I pretty much use 16 for everything. So even when I'm using a DAW, I only have one out channel for the Fantom being a master in my DAW, and it's channel 16 always, to control all the other channels. So pad zone select is 16. That's pretty much all you need to have from that standpoint. The controller that I'm using today is my trusty Akai MPD 226. The ideal is this controller is connected directly to the Fantom when I'm on stage. First off, what I like about this, aside the using the key switches, I want to switch my tones with my left hand because my right hand is busy playing chords or doing leads. I need my left hand to hit all the sounds that I want, or anything I want to switch. Some songs are fast and you got to get to it fast. The key switches on the Fantom is on the right side. I've performed that when I first performed this board. I found it really difficult to switch over. I mean, unless you have a full band and some things, no one is going to miss that you stop playing for a couple seconds. It may be all right, but for me, no, I have to have that complete control. So which means that I would need to switch sounds, particular sounds like brass and strings, either with a foot pedal or some type of controls on my left side. And this is what I like about the Akai here. So it's right here. I'm able to get to it right away. There's so many controls. You got all your CCs. Because the Fantom has so many faders and knobs, there's really no reason to want to use these. But you can, just depending on the situation. But today, this is all about triggering scenes and tones and the sample pad. And as you can see, I have these colors set. All the orange here are scenes. The purple are tones. Except for this one right here. This is a scene, but it's related to the tones. I'm going to show you how I got that set up. One of the things that you want to get, let me show you when I program all of these pads here, I'm just going to show you real quick up front. When I put it in edit mode, you can see I have my pad set up to program bank. And as you can see at the bottom, program number 81, then you have the MSB, which stands for most significant bytes. 85 is the number for all your scenes. There's 512 scenes. 4 banks, A through D. You guys know that. And then you have the LSB, which is the least significant bytes, which goes up to 3. So 0 is A, 1 is B, 2 is C, and 3 is D. MSB is always going to be the same. And then the program changes. So it's 128 of scenes in each one of those banks. So you have to program all if your controller is capable of doing this, and this is the route you want to go. Not all controllers are created equal, and I've gone through a lot trying to find the perfect one. Not only can do multiple things like CCs and notes and program changes, but also keyboard letters, and be able to respond back with MIDI, transmit it back to it. I need my lights to light up on these pads so I know what's happening. Okay, so let's move on. Let me show you this real quick. Once you program these, let's go over to what Roland has provided for us. Here I have the Fantom sound list, and as you can see, I'm currently looking at scenes here. Here's A. Here's the most significant bytes, MSBs, 85. Trust me, all the scenes in the MSBs are 85s. Because we are in A, the LSB is 0, and you have 128 of those, and that's the program change. That's what PC is here. So they give you, oops, I'm moving to the tones. They give you all the numbers that you need in order to do this. What they don't give you, let's check it out right here in C. Well, I'm not going to say they don't give you that. They do give you for the scenes. They just kind of narrowed it up. These are all initial scenes, all your user scenes, and that's how you would program. You just have to look at the board. For instance, let's take a look at the keyboard here. When you are in, as you can see here, I got C81, and you pretty much would use the MSB 85, LSB 2, and then the program change, which is the C081, in order to program that scene. And the same goes for tones. So let me back up out of here. We're going to keep going down. All right, now we're into tones. Now, of course, there's thousands of tones. And you just have to kind of overlook this list so you know what sound you're messing with. So let's say I go into a sound. Boom. Let's do that on the board. I don't know if I switched that for you guys, but this is the tones, PRD. These are the Zencore sounds, and they give you the Zencore sounds all the way to PR. All of the Zencore sounds, the CMDs, all of those are still Zencore. You get the drum set, the V piano, and the and it's really losing me. Supernatural sounds. So these are all your sound lists, and these are all your program change numbers for those. Let's take a look at the board so you can get a glimpse of what I'm talking about here in another way. So it's, for instance, this supernatural sound, or it's actually not supernatural, it's Zencore, as you can see right there. The bank is PRB. It's category E piano. The most important part is the bank, and the number here 290. So 290 and the PRB, and it's a few different ways you can look for this. Moving back over to the screen. So what did we say? Bank PRB. This is a PDF. You can always search. Lot of editing. 290 right here. Here's my instrument. Here's my MSB, my LSB, and my program change right there. So yeah, you could once again, if you simply see that the tone is 290 and bank PRB, all we really have to do is search in the PDF finder the AX vintage here to PRB 290, and this is the MSB for your controller, the LSB for your controller, and the program change 34. And that's how you would look for that tone. All right, so all the tones that that Fantom has provided for you is all the Zencore, Supernatural, the V pianos, and the drums. But what they didn't give you, which I would have to give you in another video, I'll show you how to do this, is none of the user tones. See, there's a bank for your Supernatural sound. So let's say you take a Supernatural sound and you want to freak it out, do your own thing, and immediately you can save it into a user bank, but each user bank is separate. So there's a Supernatural user bank, there's a V piano user bank, there's a Zencore user bank, and a drums user banks. So and even obviously a scene user bank. So just real quick, this is pretty much how you would these are the numbers that you would need to put into your controllers, and you need to know all the banks in order to utilize it. And in the second video, I will show you that equation and how to find it. All right, enough is enough. So let me kind of show you this thing in action. All right. So I got my scenes here. Once again, the orange is scenes, the purple are tones, except for this scene here. So let me show you what's happening. This is what I like about this scene. Now, here's something that's argumentative. I don't know, but I'm going to show you this. I got this tone, and if you can see it, I call it single tone none. Single tone none. Why do I call it single tone none? Check it out. Let's take a look at the tones inside of this scene. When you go into to see what tones they have, there's nothing in there. Look at tone one. Look at zone 1 through 4. Here's 1 through 8. There's nothing there. 1 through 16, absolutely nothing. Let's take it back to 1 through 4. Now, it's not until I hit one of these tones here that something shows up. And all of these tones right here are on zone 1. So if I press the first one, I got a piano. And this piano is a V piano, but it's also a user tone. And unfortunately, Roland did not provide the program change numbers for user tones. I had to find those, and I will share those with you in the second video. So this is a V piano that I edited and programmed to my liking. So with that one tone, I've got 5. With that one scene, I have 5 zones, and nothing else in any of the other zones, which I'm using a hypothesis to think that it's less processing on the Roland Fantom. And I've done all my scenes that I use for live performances like that. Any tracks or zones that I'm not using, I completely wiped out any tone. Now, whether or not that works or actually makes it more efficient or saves polyphony, I don't know, but it seemed like it would. Here I am going to press another sound here. And these sounds I just kind of picked for the video. I have spent time on my scenes for my live performance. This is just me kind of showing off a little bit. I just added some sounds. I haven't really did anything to the other ones. They're just there to have some extra. Another. So that's that. So let's move over to so I was talking to someone on Facebook. I was telling them to kind of think about the scenes as a single tone, and this is why. I come from Kurzweil. Kurzweil tones or sounds has 32 layers. 32 layers to make up one tone, compared to Roland's 4 partials, 4 parts or 4 layers, which, when you think about the layers and how many things you can add to a sound to give the feel that you're looking for, 32 layers sounds a whole lot better than 4. But the great thing about the Roland Fantom is the scenes. In order to get 32 layers in the Roland Fantom to compare to the Kurzweil, you'd have to use 8 zones. So 8 zones make up 32 layers. So you can use each zone to be extra additive to the sound that you're choosing. So if you choose a piano, for instance, I do have a piano like that where I think I actually use 8 different pianos, different velocities, and to create the sound that I'm looking for. But what's beautiful about the Roland, there's 16 zones, which means that you can virtually do 64 layers to one tone. And that's how I kind of some of my scenes are actually a scene that I would use various different instruments inside of it, but some of them are specifically one tone. And Roland shows you that when they gave you the supernatural sounds with the Rhodes, they had a few scenes that they added that kind of showed you, okay, here you are playing this single instrument, and they might have 3 zones to make it what it is. So I think that's what was powerful about the Fantom, and I urge everyone to look at it like that. That's, to me, it just made the machine that much more powerful. All right, so here, let me use this first scene here. This is my piano scene. It's actually a scene that's under construction. It's my piano. I've got a couple velocity. I'm still working on this one. Compared to, let me go back to the single tone none and the V piano. It's just a single tone. Compared to my whole scene, it's got a little bit more body. next scene right here. Matter of fact, I want to show you that the scenes are changing. Let me show you that, guys. Just so you know that I'm controlling this thing. This is my road. Got a couple sounds, and I'm using the buttons on the left on the Roland to add in the sounds versus hitting key switches, which are on my right side. Just change the sound again, or a different pad. Couldn't imagine trying to throw my hand over to the right side to those key switches to make this happen. Now with my Kurzweil for strings and brass, I always use foot pedals, and I haven't done that yet with this board. I have a Midi foot pedal, and I will program those to do what I needed to do. But I love this Rogues here. And all of my sounds, I'll be changing them, you know, editing them to kind of make them sound better. But that's that. Now let me move over here to this one right here. This is my Clive. Now, let me show you what that looks like. Once again, I've shut off all the unnecessary sounds. So there's only a few at the top. This is my mix, and everything else is just shut off. I got a single button that I add. Now that's super Stevie Wonder Superstitious. I also have, let me jump over here to the brass section. So trying to switch between those two instruments with the key switch is just no smooth way to do it. So I got no way it would have went smooth with those key switches. Needed my hand on those instruments for a while, so I'm glad that I was able to have these buttons here on the left side. This button right here was my original scene that I made, going with the whole concept of the key switches. But what I did do, and I still use the key switches on this one. I do got my own custom sounds here with my organs. coming from the Kurzweil, yo, it took a minute to be satisfied with these organs and adding everything I needed to add to it to give it the body. I feel like I'm off subject, man, but let me get back on it. So listen, so as you can see here, I don't have to make this video long. So here I am. I have all the scenes that I need. And I use program changes. So once again, pay attention to the sound list that they gave you, and you want to enter this into your controller. I mean, it's way easier to manage these sounds and move around. Sample pad. All right, so I got 4 banks here on my controller. I'm gonna move over. As you can see, I got these red ones now. They are on channel 16, and I had to basically, these are all notes. And if you know that you can, once you put it on to a zone, it starts with the C down there at the bottom on the left side of the board. And so I just programmed all of these to do that, to trigger that. That is a sample pad. Now, what I did was I set them up to each of the pads to loop, but you got to press and hold to make that happen. And on my controller, I'm utilizing the toggle. So I gave I gave on a different color and off red. So now I can just trigger. None of these, and of course, unfortunately, with the sample pads, you only can have 4 go at the same time. Now, my sample pads are not programmed the way I want to. I think my first 32, I mean, there's 4 banks of 16. My first 32 is going to be drum percussions from my DAW and my sample packs, my live drums, and also my synthetic drums, 808s and whatnot, some of my stuff that I always use. And the other 32 is just going to be series of loops where I'll have each row loops related. And for shows that I do that's just on the fly, you know, these, you know, this 116 will equal 4 songs, percussions, and maybe even a bass line. And I'll just throw those in and just have 8 songs ready to go with the sample pad on the fly. And the first 16 or 32 are just for production in the sequencer on the Fantom. That's the ideal. And that's basically it. I hope I didn't lose track of what I was trying to do and accomplish in this video, but that's pretty much it. Holla at your boy. Once again, my name is Jarmis Latrell, and this is how you program your controller to your Fantom to trigger your scenes, your tones, and the sample pad. It's going down. Peace.